Okay, let's move on to the first question. The first question says, Rio has 6 cards. He writes a number on each card so that the range of the number is 10, the median of the number is 7.5, the mode of the number is 6. Rio arranges the cards so that the numbers are in order of size. So the cards are in order of size. 3 of the numbers are hidden. Complete the cards above to show that 3 numbers that are hidden. There are 3 cards, numbers are missing here. So very first thing, let's introduce letters on these cards. First one X, second one Y, third one I'm taking as Z. Let's see now, the range of the numbers is 10. How to get the range? The range to be taken, largest number, range. When getting the range equals largest minus smallest. Right, what is the largest number? The largest number is 14. Smallest number we don't know, we get it as X, so the range is given as 10. Here we are getting a simple equation, so let's shift this X to this side, then it gets net positive because it is already negative. So I'm sending this one to this side, then it becomes X. I'm sending this 10 to this side, then it becomes minus 10. Then X, this pressed card becomes as 4. So we found the pressed card as 4. Let's move on to this next card, which is Y or the Z. The median of the number is 7.5, and you've been given here the mode of the number is 6. So if the mode is 6, it can be either in this side or this side. You have to decide which side to be 6 to be put. In this case, since the median is given, median is 7.5. If you put 6 here, so to get the median equals median equals 6 plus Z, because there are 2 cards in the middle. When you are getting 2 numbers in the middle to get the median, you have to add them together and divide it by 2. So if we put here 6, if the Z is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12. When the 12 divided by 2, it becomes 6. Right? So the median, which is not 6, it is 7.5. Then it is obvious that Z is not 6. Y has to be 6. Therefore, we confirm Y as 6. Now let's get the median, what the median is. Median is given as 7.5. So 7.5 equals 6 plus Z over 2. So let's cross multiply. When you are bringing this 2 to this side, what will happen? Do the cross multiplication. Bring this 2 to this side. So 7.5 into 2 equals 6 plus Z. Now, that's again a simple equation that we have to solve out. 7.5 into 2, how much is it? 7.5 into 2 is 15. 15 equals 6 plus Z. Then send this 6 to this side. What will happen when you send this 6 to this side? It is already positive. When it comes to this side, it becomes negative. So 15 minus 6 equals Z. Then Z becomes 9. So let's write the answers in the boxes. So it is 4, 6, and Z we got as 9. That's it. That's the first question. Second question. Second question is on transformation. So there are 4 types of transformations: translation, reflection, rotation, and enlargement. This question is under enlargement. Let's see how to do this question. On the grid, enlarge shape A with scale factor 3, So this shape A, we call it as object. This is the given one. We need to enlarge this shape. So before enlarging or before doing anything else, you have to identify what the center is, label what the center is. So let's label what the center is. Here the center is 0, 1, which is here. After that, we have to label all the vertices of the object. So let's get this one as A, and I'm getting this one as B, C, D, E, F. So we have, these are the vertices. Let's point them out. These are the vertices. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. We gotta enlarge all these 6 vertices. Let's see how to do it. From the center, you know that column vectors. I think you know what column vectors are. Column vectors always. So let's say that we have upwards, downwards, up, forward, backward movement. Then, once we have these movements, for this moment, it is always positive. For forward, it is always positive. For downward, it is negative. Backward, it is negative. So let's see how to move along this one. Can you see if being at the center to move to the vertex A, I got to move forward here, just 1 unit. So I'm moving here, just 1 unit over here, and let's see, here 1 unit. And no vertical movement. Therefore, I'm writing it as the vertex A to be written as 1 movement horizontal, no movement for the vertical. And since the scale factor is 3, I have to multiply by 3. Finally, the vertex of the image would be 3, 3 into 1, 3, 3 into 0, 0, 3, 0. Next one is B. Let's move out of B. For B, being at the center, I have to move 1, 2, 3. 3 units forward, no vertical movement. Therefore, I have to write 3, 0. And this one should be also multiplied by 3. Then B prime, which is the image 1, would be 3 into 3, 9, 9, 0. And next one is C. C, I have to, being at the center, 1, 2, 3, 3 units forward, and 1, 2, 3, 3 units upwards, then 3, 3. For C, the movement is 3 units horizontally forward, 3 units horizontally upwards. Then I have to multiply it by 3. Again, C prime would be 3 into 3, 9, 3 into 3, 9. It would be 9, 9. Next one is D. Let's get this one again. For D, so from being at the center, 1, 2. Now I have to stop here because it is right. The D is right about this point. 2 and 1, 2, 3. It is 2, 3. My C movement for D is 2, 3. And we have to multiply by the scale factor. Then D prime, which is the image vertex, would be 3 into 2, 6, 3 into 3, 9. E. Let's get the column vector for E. Here, we've been given E here. So let's move from the center. 1, 2, you got to stop here because E is right about here. 2 and 1. Then your movement would be 2, 1. The column vector is 2, 1. You have to multiply it by 3 because it is the scalar factor. Then E prime would be 3 into 2, 6. 3 into 1, 3. It is 6, 3. Next one, last one, F. Let's get F. So how to move from F? Here 1 unit forward, 1 unit upward, which is 1, 1 into 3. It becomes F dash, which is 3, 3. Now let's plot these points. So first one, 3, 0. Being at the center, you have to move 3 units forward and 0 units vertically. So first one is here. We'll erase this then. Okay, first one would be 3, 0. 1, 2, 3. No vertical movement, therefore it would be here. Second one, 9, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 0, which is here. Second or third one, 9, 9. 9 all the way up to here, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It comes all the way here. Next one is 6, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is here. 6, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is here. 6, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 6, 3. Next one is 3, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? Now we have that all the point vertices that we plotted. Now let's join them. Oh. Okay, that's the figure. Here part B, we need to describe this one, so I'm recognizing this one as a rotation. So I'm going to trace this object and image on tracing paper. This is object triangle P, and the other one is image triangle Q. After that, I'm labeling what object is, which is P. After that, I have to assume where the center could be. In this case, the center can be middle of these two images, so it is 5, 5. So I'm assuming that, and I'm checking whether it fits. Once I assume where the center is, I got to draw a vertical arrow, and keeping on the center the pencil, I'm rotating the tracing paper until the object exactly fits on the image. Yes, it fits, therefore it is the center. Then I'll have to measure the angle since it draws upwards and all the way downwards. It is 180 degrees. Then I have to describe it as rotation 180 degrees, center 5, 5. Question 3. Subtraction of fractions. So converting these mixed numbers into improper fractions, you are getting 1 mark. So let's see how to do it. 3 times 7 is 21. 21 plus 1 is 22. So I'm getting 22 over 3. Here, next one, 7 into 3, 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So 25 over 7. Afterwards, I need to have a common denominator. To get the common denominator, I got to multiply this one by 7. Then to make it equivalent fraction, I have to multiply the same, the numerator. 25 into 3 then. This one 7 into 3. Can you see now? For the denominator, we are getting the same denominator. So here 27 into 2 into 27 into 7 becomes 154 over 21. 75 over 21. Now we are getting a common denominator. Now we are almost done. After that, 79, once you subtract, because we are having same denominator, then you can straight away subtract the numerators. So 79 over 21, which becomes as 316 over 21, which is required. Let's move on to the fourth question. Using ruler and compasses only, construct the perpendicular bisector of the line AB. Show all your construction lines. So what's the meaning of show all your construction lines? It means you have to leave all the arcs that you use to construct this construction. The first thing is when constructing perpendicular bisector of line AB, get the compasses and open up the compasses until you get the radius, which is more than half of the length of AB. Something like this. After that, keep the point on A, the needle point on exactly A, and bring this compass and draw an arc which is like a half circle. After that, bring the needle point at point B and bring the compass and draw an arc which intersect that the previous one. After that, we are done with the arcs. After that, use your ruler to join the lines of those two intersecting points. So we call this line, which creates 90 degrees here, we call it perpendicular bisected. So we are done with that part. This is perpendicular bisected. It created 90 degrees and it bisected this line as well. Question 5. The diagram shows two similar quadrilaterals. So these two are similar quadrilaterals, ABCD and EFGH. So we've been given measurements. AB equals 5 centimeters, BC 4 centimeters, CD Y centimeters, and EF X centimeters, FG 10 centimeters, and GH 24 centimeters. Work out the value of X. Since the question gives us a hint here, similar quadrilaterals, you should use similar figure rules. So we know that length ratio L1 over L2 equals K. What is this L1 and L2? If you get one length from here, let's say that I'm getting this one, FG, that is, if I'm considering this one as L1, you have to go to the next figure to get L2. You have to figure out the corresponding length, which is as same as this shape, the length of this shape. You have to move on to this figure and figure out the length, which is as same as this FG, which is this one, 4 centimeters. Then I can label this one as L2. Therefore, when getting the scale factor, I can write L1 over L2 equals K. K means the scale factor. When getting the scale factor, it is always easy if you are following this rule. Keep in your head that you are using the bigger figure in the numerator always. Bigger figure in the numerator always. So scale factor, in this case, scale factor equals L1 over L2, which becomes as 10 centimeters over 4 centimeters, which becomes as 2.5, because 2 times 2, 2 times 5, 5 divided by 2, 2.5. Now we have the scale factor. If we have the scale factor, we can find the length. In this case, we need to get x, which is this one. Then when getting x, how should we write it? X equals, since we are getting the length of this bigger figure, we need to multiply by the scale factor. If you are getting any length in this small figure, you have to divide by the scale factor, because when getting the scale factor, I maintain that the length of the bigger figure in the numerator. So whenever you are getting the length, any length of the bigger figure, multiply by the scale factor. The scale factor, which is 2.5, and I have to multiply this one by, you have to come to this figure and figure out the corresponding length for this x, which is 5 centimeter, because the phi is the same as in FE in this one. Since these two figures are similar, there should be a corresponding length for this x in this figure, which is 5 centimeter. So get that one and multiply by phi. Then the answer comes as 2.5 into 5 becomes as 12.5. Then the answer comes as 12.5 centimeters. Let's move on to part B. Part B, we have to get the value of y. So y is in the smart diagram this case. Then remember, when getting any length for smart diagram, you need to divide by the scale factor. Let's write y. What's the corresponding length for y in this bigger diagram? This is the y. The corresponding length is for y is this one. Then remember to divide. So let's go to the y equals, your length, corresponding length is 24. Divide by the scale factor, which is 2.5. So always you have to decide whether you have to divide by the scale factor or multiply by the scale factor. Once we divide 24 by 2.5, the answer comes as 9.6. Therefore, distance y equals 9.6 centimeters. That's it. Question number 6 under ratios. Paul, Sam, and Tia, they share 240 pounds in the ratios 3:4:5. Sam and Tia each give 10 pounds of their share to Paul. Work out the ratios of the amounts of money that Paul, Sam, and Tia now have. Give your answer in the simplest form. So we need to give it in simplest form. So remember, initially they had this much, 240, and they shared it using this ratio 3:4:5. After they shared their amount, Sam and Tia each give 10 pounds to Paul. Let's see what happened. Let's see that how they shared using this 3:4:5 ratio. When a ratio question is given, the very first step is write down the ratio as it is. So the ratio is 3:4:5. After that, these parts, which represented by the ratio, there are 3 persons here, Paul, Sam, and Tia. Let's write their name just above the ratio part. So this one for Paul, this one for Sam, this one for Tia. And total ratio parts, 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 5, 12. Now, afterwards, check out whether real amounts are given, which represent by these parts. 3 parts, 4 parts, 5 parts, 12 parts. So in this case, 240 is the total amount that they shared. There are 12 parts represented by 240. So once you write down the ratio parts, check out whether the real amount which represented by these parts are given. In this case, the total share is given. There are 12 parts represented by 240 pounds. After that, let's write 12 parts. We know that 12 parts represented by 240 pounds. Therefore, we can get 1 part. 1 part, if we want to get 1 part, 240, 12 parts to be divided by 12, then we are getting 1 part, which is 20 pounds. So we have 1 part. Let's get Paul's parts. Paul has got 3 parts, then 3 parts represented by 3 into 20. which becomes as 60 pounds. Next one is Sam. Sam has got 4 parts. Then 4 parts for Sam. 4 into 20, which becomes as 80 pounds. Next one, Tia. Tia has got 5 parts. So 5 parts would be 100 pounds. After this shell like this, boom. Now let's say they are new amount. So Pao gets 100 pounds from Tia, from Sam, and he has already got 60. Therefore, his new share would be 80 pounds. What about Tia then? What about Sam? What about Sam? Sam had 80 pounds. And he had to give away 10. Then his new share would be 70. And Tia has got 100. And from that 100, he had to give 10. Finally, he has to end up with 90. The new amount would be 80, 70, 90. Now we are asked to keep the new ratio in the simplest form. So when giving the answer in simplest form, you need to figure out whether you can divide this by it. There is a common number that you can divide. I can see that I can divide by 10 each and everything. Then the answer would be 8:7:9. Question 7 under percentages. In this question, Tim buys a bracelet for 4,000 Swiss francs. The value of the bracelet increases by 7% each year. Work out the value of the bracelet at the end of 3 years. Give your answer correct to the nearest Swiss franc. When doing this question, you got to know that there are a few percentage formulae. So this is one of them, compound interest. So under compound interest, we have to focus on this formula, the total investment, or under compound percentage, total investment. Total investment is equal to P times P, means the initial value or the principal value, the value that you are taking to the bank initially, that is called initial value or principal value, times 1 plus or minus r over 100 raised to the power of n. In this case now, we know that P means the initial value. There is 1 plus, you have to add. We do not add both of them. You have to include addition when it is increasing. You have to include subtraction when it is decreasing. So R means the percentage, and over 100 raised to the power of n means number of years. So let's substitute the values. P initial value, which is 4,000 francs, times 1. In this case, plus, because this value gets increased by 7% each year, then R equals 7 over 100 raised to the power of 3, because there are 3 years. After that, let's get the calculator and plug in the values into the calculator. In this case, 4,000 times brackets 1 plus 7 over 100. Close the bracket, raised to the power of 3 equals. So the answer comes as 4,900.172. 4,900.172, which becomes as, because we need to get the answer correct to the nearest Swiss francs, so you shouldn't keep any cents over here. So look at the first cents, which is 1 cent is less than 5. We do not want to add 1 to this one. Then the answer becomes as 4,900 only. Question 8. Under simultaneous equations. Let's see how to do this one. Before doing this one, before doing anything else, I want you to analyze these two equations, whether their settings are correct. So check out these test settings. Check out whether x below x is available.
Yes,
in this case, you are having here x, yes, setting is correct. Y below y, yes, you are fine. And equation sign below equation sign, perfect. And the number below number. So this setting is perfect. If the setting is not in according to this format, you gotta rearrange it. In this case, no rearrangement. Next thing is you have to get the calculator. Get the calculator and go to the calculator format, which is mod 5 1. After that, apply the values. So 3 equals 5 equals, you gotta get the coefficients of x and y's and plug in those values into the calculator. So 3 equals 5 equals. Next one is 8 equals. After each inputting, you gotta hit equal sign. After that, 4 equals 1. In this case, in front of y, there's nothing. It means there's 1 hidden 1. So 1 equals and minus 3.5 equals. Let's see what are the answers. So minus 3 over 2. We are getting minus 3 over 2. And the next one is 5 over 2. So we have two answers. We have two answers. Minus 3 over 2 or 1.5. The other one is 5 over 2, which is 2.5. So we are fine with this one. Then let's start work through this one. First thing, label the equations as equation 1 and equation 2. Let's see the coefficient of x here. Can you see they are different? In this case, the coefficient of x, the number in front of x is 3. In this equation, the number in front of x is 4. Therefore, we need to match the coefficient at the very first time. There are other methods. So I'm teaching this one. This method works for any two types of simultaneous equation. There are 4. I'm teaching this one. There's no time to teach everything here. This is paperwork through, therefore I'm teaching. With whatever the question you are getting under simultaneous equation, you can apply this one. So I'm getting this equation and I'm getting the coefficient of the second equation and multiply by 4. And I'm coming to this equation and getting the coefficient of the first equation of the x, which is 3, and I'm multiplying the second equation by 3. Now let's multiply and rewrite the equation. So 3 times 4, which is 12x, plus 5 times 4, which is 20y, equals 8 times 4, 32. Label this equation as equation 3. Next one, 4 into 3, 12x. Can you see now we match the x's, the coefficient of x's. That's the goal. We are matching the coefficient of x's. After that, plus 3y equals minus 3.5 into 3, which becomes as minus 21 over 2, which is minus 10.5. This is equation 4. Right. After that, check out the signs of this one. If you are getting same sign, can you see now this is plus, positive, positive. If we are getting same sign, positive, positive, or negative, negative, we subtract. If you are getting different signs, plus, minus, or minus, plus, then you have to add. Remember, 99.9 cases you are getting same sign. So most of the time we get that subtract but analyze it. But be cautious. If the signs are different, you have to add. Other than that, subtract. So I'm going to subtract 3 minus 4. So let's subtract. When subtracting, please don't subtract this vertical rate. Write them horizontally. Write everything. So assume this one as your roadmap. Include everything according to this instruction. So equation 3, you gotta write equation 3, whatever you get in equation 3, which is 12x plus 20y in this case. After that, I have to write minus. As soon as you write minus, please open brackets. That is a must one. You have to open brackets. I'll explain why we should open brackets. 12x plus 3y equals 32 minus 10.5. Minus 10.5. Now, just remove the brackets. Let's remove the brackets. So I have to write 12x plus 20y minus 12x minus 3y. Now, did you notice the difference? When there is a -1, when there are brackets, you need to multiply by negative sign each and everything. This one, this negative sign to be included to this one as well as to this one. If in case you are getting here -3y, then negative should be written as plus 3y. Afterwards, 32 plus 10.5. Because here also minus, then you have to add them. That's why I'm asking you to write them horizontally rather than subtracting vertically. Sometimes you really ignore this negative sign and just straight away 32 minus 10.5 you write the answer here when subtracting. Therefore, whenever you are subtracting horizontally, please plot minus, after that write brackets. Then you won't miss out anything. Now 12x, they get cancelled out. 20y minus 3y, they become 17y, equals 32 plus 10.5, 42.5. Then to get y, I gotta divide this side by 17, this side by 17. Then y becomes 42.5, 42.5 divided by 17. We are getting 5/2, which is correct. That's the calculator gave us. So it is 5/2. So the next part, we are not done yet. We have to prove that for x, we are getting -1.5. So you can pick any equation from here. Please pick the original one. So let's get this one. I'm picking the first equation, which is 3x plus 5y equals 8. Then I'm writing it y equals, I'm going to substitute y equals 5/2 into the first equation. So y equals 5/2. Substitute into the first equation. Then let's write the first equation. First equation is 3x plus 5y plus 5y equals 8. Then wherever you get y, you gotta replace 5/2 there. So 3x plus 5 into 5/2 equals 8. Then I'm getting here to 525. I'm sorry, that's a magic bar. 25/2 equals 8. Then 3x equals 8 minus 25/2. 3x equals 16 minus 25/2. So 3x 16 minus 25 over 2. Let's use the calculator. 16 minus 25 over 2 is minus 9 over 2. Then x equals minus 1.5. So we got it. That's it. So before doing anything else, please get your answers using the calculator. Then if you are going wrong, you can verify it. Question 9 part A on the linear inequalities. So let's see how to solve this one. This is the same as solving a simple equation. So let's collect all the t's to one side. Then I'm sending this one to this side, this 2t to this side. Then I've got here minus 3t minus 2t. And I'm sending the rest to the other side. So I've got here 15. I'm sending this 7 to this side. 7 is already positives. Remember, when picking the negative or positive, the indication is in front of the number. So in this case, in front of the number, it is positive. If it is negative, it will be indicated in front of the number in this way. In this case, it is positive. So when we send this 7 to this side, it gets negative. Minus 3 to minus 3t minus 2t, they become minus 5t. Smaller than 15 minus 7, which is 8. Then I gotta divide by minus 5. As soon as we divide an inequality by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality sign. That's a rule. If you are dividing or multiplying an inequality by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality sign. In this case, now it becomes greater than 8 over minus 5. Minus 5 cancel out. T is greater than minus 1.6. That's it. This part is defining the region which is shaded using inequalities. So the region are shown shaded in the diagram is bounded by 3 straight lines. When a region is given, you gotta identify what the boundary lines are. So in this case, there are 3 boundary lines. Let's see what are the boundary lines here are. This one, here this line is one boundary line. And this is one boundary line, and the other one is this one. So there are 3 boundary lines, and we need to get the equations of these 3 boundary lines. How do we get the equation? What is the equation of this one? This line passes through the x-axis at 2. Therefore, the equation of this one is x equals 2. This line, it passes through the y-axis at 3, and it is parallel to the x-axis. So there are 3 types of straight lines, 3 major types of straight lines you gotta know. X equals any number, y equals any number, and y equals mx plus c type. So this is the lines which are parallel to y-axis. They are x equals something. The lines which are parallel to x-axis, they are y equals something. And these slant lines, they are y equals mx plus c type. Is it clear? So the lines which are parallel to y-axis, x equals something, just a number. The lines which are parallel to x-axis, they are y equals just a number. And this one, slant lines, these are tilted lines, they are y equals mx plus c type. So let's identify the equation of this one. It is this line, it passes through the at 3, therefore equation of this line is y equals 3. And this one is y equals mx plus c type. You need to get what the gradient and what the y-intercept is. Just by looking at the diagram, you can get what the y-intercept, in this case c, becomes as 9. Because the line hits the y-axis at 9, then the line where it cuts the y-axis is known as the y-intercept. Therefore, c equals 9 in this case. Now we need to get what the gradient is. We know that gradient equals y2 minus y1, y difference over x difference, x2 minus x1. So you have to have two coordinates, get any smooth two coordinates which are readable. So I'm getting this one 0, 9. And there's another one, I'm getting this one 9, 0. So let's get the gradient. M equals y2, I'm getting this one y2 0 minus 9, then 9 minus 0. Then I'm getting 9 minus 9 over 9, which becomes as minus 1. Therefore, I can write the equation of this line as y equals minus x, because minus 1 is the gradient, plus 9. Now we have all the equations of the boundary lines. Let's see how to write the inequalities using these boundary lines. So first let's move on to this one, x equals 2. So being at this position, I gotta go to this side, right? I gotta go to this side. Being on this line, I need to move to this side. So to move to this side, what will happen to these x values? What is happening being at this position, being at x equals 2, I need to move to this side. Then when you are moving to this side, the x values, can you see 2? If you move over here, it becomes 3. If you move over here, it becomes 4. Therefore, being at this position, if you are moving to this side to represent this shaded region, x values are getting bigger. Then we write one inequality as x is greater than or equals to, as this line is solid line, it is not a dotted line. If it is a dotted line, we have to exclude this equal sign. In this case, it is a solid line. Therefore, you have to include this equal sign as well. So same way, let's move on to this one. This one, being on this line, y equals 3, to represent this shaded region, you gotta go to this side. So what's happening to this y values? You are at 3, but to represent this shaded region, you need to walk through here. Then when you are going upwards, being at 3, when you are moving upwards, what's happening to y values? 3, 4, 5. Y is also getting greater. Then the next inequality becomes as y is greater than or equals 3. Right, now we are all set. Let's move on to this one. Being on this line, this slant line, to represent the region, I gotta walk downwards. I need to come downwards. So when coming downwards, what's happening here? I need to come to this way. I need to come downwards. When coming downwards, let's say that you are at this position, which is 7, but you need to come downwards. When coming downwards, can you see y values are getting smaller? Y values are getting smaller. On the other hand, being on this one, you are coming downside, which means y values are getting smaller. The inequality is y is smaller than or equals minus x plus 9. That's how we represent the regions. Question 10. Under basic trigonometric ratios, ABD and ABC are right angle triangles. So ABC, this small triangle, and ABD, this bigger triangle, they both are 90-degree triangles. Here this angle is 90 degree. AB is 16 centimeter. AB is 16 centimeter, BC is 12 centimeter, AD equals 1.5 times AC. Find the length of CD. Let's see how to get the length of CD. Now this is CD, then I need to get this length. We've been given here AD equals 1.5 times AC. So this is a hint. So how to get CD? You need to think like this backward. to get CD or DC, which length to be figured out? Now I know that DC lies in this DB. It is one part of this full length. Therefore, if I can get DB, then I can get DC by subtracting 12 from DB. So how to get DB? Now this DB lies in this 90-degree triangle, which is ABD. Then I can apply Pythagorean theorem if I know what DA is. DA, I need to get AC. Now AC lies in this ABC triangle. Therefore, AC is the hypotenuse of ABC triangle. Then again, I can apply Pythagorean theorem for triangle ABC to get AC. So let's apply Pythagorean theorem for triangle ABC. Then I can get right AC equals 12 squared plus 16 squared square root of this thing. Using Pythagorean theorem, then we'll get the values of this one. 12 squared plus 16 squared equals 20. So the answer for this one is 20 centimeter. Then we got what AC is. AC is 20 centimeter. This one is 20 centimeter. Then we can get what AD is. Let's get what AD is. AD equals 1.5 times AC. It is given here. It's been given here. So 1.5 times AC we got as 20. Once we multiply them, we are getting 1.5 times 20, which becomes as 30. Then it is 30 centimeters. Right, we are done with AD. Now let's move on to ABD. So to get BD, I can use this triangle ABD, and again I can apply Pythagorean theorem. So I'm using AD squared equals BA squared plus BD squared. So I need to get this one. BD squared equals AD squared minus BA squared. Then AD squared. AD we got it as 30 squared. BA we been given as 16, so it is 16 squared. If I want to get BD, I need to get the root of this one. So let's use the calculator again. Root of 30 squared minus 16 squared, which becomes as a 2 root 161. 2 root 161 which becomes as 25.377 quays. Now we need to get DC. So how do we get DC? To get DC equals, I know that DC equals DB minus BC. So DB, we got it as 25.377. 25.377. BC, we've been given it as 12. So once we subtract these two, we are getting the answer 25 points minus 12, which is this one, 13.377. We need to leave our answer to the third significant figure. Therefore, it will be 13 point. 4. Question 11 under probability. Let's see how to do this question. Khalid has a box of counters. 17 of the counters are red. 17 of the counters are red. 28 of the counters are blue. The rest of the counters are orange. Khalid is going to take at random a counter from the box. The probability that Khalid will take an orange counter is 1/9. Work out the number of orange counters that are in the box. So how do we do this one? Let's write in this way. 17 of the counters are red, right? So red counters are 17 counters are there. 28 of the counters are blue. So blue counters are 28. The rest of the counters are orange. Then we don't know how many orange counters are. Therefore, let's introduce a letter for the orange. Then that is orange. Khalid is going to take at random a counter from the box. The probability that Khalid will take an orange counter is 4/9. Then I can write the probability of orange equals 4/9. Right. And in the other way, getting probability of orange using here the details, I can write it is x over 17 plus 28 plus x, which becomes as, now I can write that x over 17 plus 28 plus x is equal to how much? 4/9. Can you see now we are getting an equation. So let's simplify this equation. Here I can write, I'm going to cross multiply. 9x equals 4 times. Here 17 plus 28, they become 45. 45 plus 6. So we added them, then you are getting 45, then it becomes 45 plus 6, then we cross multiply. Here we are cross multiplying. So this one comes here, this one comes here. When bringing this one, please apply brackets. So we are cross multiplying, but apply. Afterwards, 9x is equal to 4 into 4 to 45, which becomes 180 plus 4x. Then I am bringing this 4x, which is plus 4x to this side. It becomes 5x. So let's write it in this side. So it is 5x equals 180. Then I need to get x, therefore I'm dividing by 5. 180 divided by 5. Once you divide 180 by 5, you are getting 36. X, 5 cancelled, 5 times 1, 5 times 3, 15. 3 remaining 6. X equals 36. So we need to work out the number of orange counters that are in the box. So initially we introduced x as our number of oranges. Then I can write 36 as our answer. Question 12 and under algebra. Expand and simplify. So when you are getting 3 expressions to expand them together, in this case 3x times 2x plus 5 close the bracket times to 7x minus 4. So when we have to multiply out 3 things together, first consider 2 things, then go for the next one. 3x times 2x plus 5. So I know that I need to multiply this one as well as this one. So let's multiply out 6x squared plus 15x. Then this answer to be multiplied by the remaining expression, which is 7x minus 4. So let's multiply out, then this one into this. 6 times 7, 42, 42, x squared into x becomes x cubed. 42 x cubed. After that, this one into this. Minus 24 x squared. Now we are done with this one. We start off with this one. 15 into 7. 15 into 7 becomes 105. So 105 x squared, because x into x squared. 15 into 4, which becomes 60. 60 minus 60x. Right, let's see whether there are like terms to simplify together. Yes, we do. Here, these two, we have to simplify together. So 42 x cubed minus 24 x squared plus 105 x squared becomes 81 x squared. Positive. 81 x squared. You can use the calculator as well to check it out. Minus 60x. This is the answer for this one. Let's move on to the 13th question, which is cumulative frequency. Let's see how to get the cumulative frequency when the frequency table is given. Cumulative frequency is also known as running total because we always calculate the cumulative frequency when the frequency is given, and we call it running total. So the previous frequency before 8 is always 0. Therefore, I'm adding 0 here. 8 plus 0, which becomes as 8. Then here, the previous one is 8. Previous one is 8, then 13 plus 8. 13 plus 8 becomes as 21. Then previous one is, the previous total is 21, then 12 plus 21. Always remember to add the previous total. So it is 33, that's why we call it running total. So 17 plus 33 equals 50. Here we are adding the previous total. So before 8 there was nothing, that's why I added 0. Then the first cumulative frequency comes as 8. Second one, the 13 frequency is 13. The previous total is 8. Then 13 plus 8 becomes 21. Likewise 33, 50, then 57. 57 plus 3 is 60. If we've done this one perfectly, we need to get the total frequency for the last cumulative frequency. Let's see. Yes, in this case, the question says that there are 60 people. My total frequency, my last cumulative frequency, I got it as 60. Let's see how to draw this cumulative frequency curve. I brought this frequency table from the next page. So these are the time intervals. These are the cumulative frequencies. When plotting the cumulative frequencies, we have to get the upper bound of the time interval. In this case, 10, 8. So 10 and 8. Here, after that, 20, 21. Here, 30, 33. Next one is 30, 33. 30, 33. Here. Next one is 40, 50. Here. 50, 57. Here, and 60, 60. So this is our plotting. Now let's draw the curve. When drawing the curve, try to draw it as much as smoother, otherwise the answers related to this graph would be incorrect. Right, now we need to get the estimate of the median. So when getting the median, I know that median is equal to Q2. Q2 is equal to N over 2. N means the total frequency. In this case, it is 60. 60 divided by 2 becomes 30. Then you have to go to 30 and draw the line. Come to 30 and draw the line. And come all the way down. So the reading is 28. Then my answer for the median is 28. 28 minutes. So the answer script, the answers 27 to 28 expected. Accepted. Next one, use your graph. Next one, use your graph to find an estimate for the number of these people who took more than 45 minutes to complete the puzzle. So, who took more than 45 minutes to complete the puzzle? Come back again to the graph. Now you need to identify the region which is more than 45. So the more than 45 is, my 45 lies here. So more than 45, let's draw a line which is more than 45. I have to come all the way from the time 45 to the curve, then get this reading. Okay, this is the reading that I'm getting here. What is this reading? How do we get this reading? I know that this is 54. So this is 54. Then to get the people who stays more than 45 minutes, I have to subtract 60 minus 54. 60 minus 54. These are the people who took more than 45 minutes to complete this puzzle, which means 6 minutes. So when we need to get more than region, this is the more than region. If you are taking the frequency for the more than, always this side, upwards. If you are getting less than 45, represent this part. This is less than 45. If you are taking less than reading, this side represents. That's how we do it. Before moving on to the 14th question, we need to discuss few theory stuff. Here, whenever we are getting a quadratic equation, the format of the standard quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. So when the value of a, which is this one, the number which is in front of x squared, when it is negative, we are getting this sad face. Can you see this mouth is sad one, merely crying. When the a is positive, we are getting happy face. Can you see the face is happy? So that's all about the shape of the quadratic. So it's how do you recognize the quadratic one? The maximum power of x has to be squared, then it is a quadratic one. So when you are getting a quadratic, identify whether the quadratic is negative quadratic or positive quadratic. How do we identify it? Depending on the value of a. If a is negative, it is sad face. If a is positive, it is happy face. So these are the two shapes. Next one is cubic one. The cubic one, we have to draw it. Remember the shape of the positive one when a is positive and a is negative in the same way of quadratic. How do you recognize whether it is cubic? The maximum power of x has to be 3, then it is cubic. So the positive cubic always starts from this quadrant, and the shape will be like this. -1, remember the positive one starts from here. The -1, it starts from here and shape will be like this. So you need to memorize 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4. When it is positive what, when it is negative what. Next one is reciprocal graph. So reciprocal graph, let's say that is y equals 3 over x. Then we draw it in this way. If it is positive, if this A is positive, this is the shape. If A is negative, this is the shape. So you have to memorize the shapes. When we are getting again a reciprocal graph with squared format, then it is when A is positive, when A is negative. So there are, in each and every curve, there are 2 scenarios. One is negative, one is positive, one is positive, one is negative likewise. So in this case, let's say the positive one, the shape is like this. -1, the shape is like this. So when you're getting a straight line, remember the shape of the straight line shape is like this. Or this. So its equation is x has to be 1, the power of the x has to be 1, and it is, we already know, y equals mx plus c. So depending on this one, this is negative gradient, this is positive gradient. That's how you have to decide it. So let's move on to the question then. So depending on the theory that I gave you, let's see how to do this question. Here the equation is this one. We have to figure out, write down the letter of the graph that could have the equation y equals 5 minus x squared. Now this is quadratic equation, this one quadratic, and but you have to decide the quadratic negative or positive. Can you see in front of x squared it is negative, therefore negative quadratic. It means side face, so figure out where it lies. Side face, which is this one. Then the answer for this one is part B. Next one, 2x, y equals 2x cubed. This is cubic one, cubic positive. Cubic positive, we got to get the start from here. Then therefore the cubic positive is this one, which is curve C. Let's do the question 15 under indices. I can make this power positive by flipping the fraction. You can take the denominator to the numerator and numerator to the denominator, then power gets positive. So we have to get the reciprocal of this fraction to make the power positive. Let's do it first. Then 10, I'm taking it to the numerator, a to the power of 7, c to the power of 2, over 2 times a cubed. Still, I'm getting this power. Now it becomes positive. Right, now don't try to apply this power into this one, rather than you're simplifying inside brackets first. Simplify it fully inside, then it is easy to do the calculations. So the 2 times 1, 2 times 5, 5, and a, when we are dividing indices, when we're dividing the powers, we should subtract them then. A to the power of 7 minus 3, and we don't have any c's down, c, my power becomes 3, so 5, a to the power of 4, c to the power of 2, the whole thing to be raised to the power of 3. Now we are done simplifying inside the brackets. Now we need to apply this power to each and everything, each and every term inside the bracket, to this one, to this one. Remember, when applying the power to this 5, it's the power of the 5 to be applied this 3. Then it becomes 5 to the power of 3, a 4 into 3, c 2 into 3. Then we are getting 5 to the power of 3 becomes 125. A 12, c to the power of 6, Question 16. Make t the subject of the formula. When subjecting a letter, your goal has to be collect all the t's to one side. So t, in this case, t is split in two places where it is in the numerator as well as the denominator. So you have to bring that denominator t to the numerator. That's the very first thing. Before doing anything else, rewrite the sum. Don't ruin the original sum. Let's rewrite the sum. So it is c equals t squared plus 3 over 7 minus 8t squared. Right, now I need to bring this p to the numerator. Therefore, I'm going to cross-multiply this one. Remember, when we are cross-multiplying, if you are having an expression, you need to apply brackets and bring this one to this side. So when you are taking a division to the other side of the equation, division should be converted into multiplication. This is a division. It is t squared plus 3 over 7 minus 8t squared. Therefore, this is considered as division. You are sending it to the other side. Then it will be a multiplication. So c times 7 minus 8t squared. You don't then want to write this one, but it is okay to write as well. Equals t squared plus 3. So let's multiply out the brackets. Let's expand the brackets. Then I'm getting 7c minus 8c t squared equals t squared plus 3. Now t is split in two places. Therefore, I need to collect it to one side. Since this is negative, I'm going to send it to this side. It is okay to bring to this side as well. Then this will be also negative. Since I'm sending it to this side, this will get positive. And let's bring this one to this side. It is already positive 3. Then when positive 3 comes to this side, it becomes a negative. Now we can still add or subtract these two because they are two different terms. When there are two different terms, still I need to subject that letter. You gotta factorize. That's the skill. From this step onwards, don't try to add them together. You can't add them together because there is c. Therefore, this is different than this one. You can't add them together. So I'm factorizing t squared. 1 plus 8c. Here this side I'm getting 7c minus 3. Now I can isolate t. This is also connected with the multiplication. Then when multiplication set of this multiplication goes to this side, it becomes division. 1 plus 8c. So I need to get dot. I want to get t, not t squared. Therefore, I need to get rid of t squared. To get rid of any squared form, you get to apply root. Then t will be root of 7c minus 3, 1 plus 8c. Remember to put plus or minus. Question 17 under differentiation. So let's rewrite the sum. Please don't ruin the original sum. Let's rewrite it. Y equals 4x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x. So when we're differentiating with respect to x in this case, I need to start off with this one. I have to get this power. I need to start off with the power, which is 3, and multiply by the coefficient and take away from that power plus 5, and again plus start off with the power, multiply by with the coefficient x, 2 minus 1. Whenever we have no power, just 1, it becomes just a number. Because there is 1 minus 1 is x to the power of 0. Here, 2x. If you differentiate this one, 1, the power is 1. 1 into 2, and x, 1 minus 1, 2x, this one becomes 0. If you raise anything to the power of 0, it becomes 1. Therefore, 2 into 1, which becomes 1. The 2. So it is 2. Now let's simplify this one. 3 into 4, 12. X to the power of 2 plus 2 into 5, 10. X plus 2. So this is the answer for the differentiation. Part B. Find the coordinates of the turning points on the graph with the equation y equals x cubed 4x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x. This is a special one because turning points. On the turning points, we know that because this is related to the differentiation and they're talking about the turning points. So let's assume this is a cubic graph, positive cubic graph. Just assume that we are getting a curve like this. These points, these are called turning points. So if your graph is going like this, no turning points. No turning point. You need to have like this something. We call this one turning point or stationary point. So in this case, this is a turning point. This is also a turning point. We call this turning point, it has a unique name called maximum. This is a minimum turning point. Now, at turning points, you should know that dy by dx is equal to 0. dy by dx equal to 0. Now, if you draw a tangent here, the tangent dy by dx becomes 0 of this tangent. So since dy by dx 0, I can write that earlier we got it, the dy by dx. So it is dy by dx, we got it as 12x squared plus 10x plus 2, in this case at stationary point, equal to 0. Now we need to sort this equation out to get the x-coordinate at the stationary point. To find the x-coordinate at the stationary point, we have to make the dy by dx equal to 0 and we have to solve that equation out. So when we are finding the roots, I can divide this equation by 2, then it becomes 6x squared plus 10 plus 5x plus 1. Now let's input the values. 6 modify 3. 6 equals 5 equals 1 equals. Then the factors are x equals minus 1 over 3 minus half. Therefore, we are getting the factors as, now we got it as x equals minus 1 over 3 and x equals minus half. When converting them into factors, you need to bring this 3 in front of x, which becomes 3x, and reverse its sign, plus 1. The next one, 2x plus 1 equals 0. After that, write the calculated answers, what, minus 1 over 3, x equals minus half. Now we have 2 x values. For those x values, you need to get what y's are as well. Therefore, let's substitute. When x equals minus 1 over 3, we need to get what y is. Then I'm writing y equals 4 times minus 1 over 2 cubed plus 5 times minus 1 over 2 squared plus 2 times minus 1 over 2. To get the y-coordinate when x equals minus 1 over 3, to get the y-coordinate, you need to substitute this x-coordinate into the curve equation, which is this one. We have to substitute into this one. So I substituted here, then x is, once you plug these values into the calculator, you are getting y equals 1 over 4. Same way, you need to substitute this one also into the curve equation. Then when x equals minus half, you are getting y equals minus 7 over 27. Then our answer becomes minus half minus 1 over 4 The other one comes as minus 1 over 3 minus 7 over 27. Question 18. Recurring decimals into fractions. So, first step, let's equate this one into x. Then I'm getting one equation. So x equals 0.702. So the whole set recurs here. The whole set recurs. Can you see there are 3 digits recurring? Therefore, I'm taking this equation as 1 and equation 1 to be multiplied by 100 as 1000 as 3 digits are recurring here. I gotta multiply by 1000 since 3 digits are repeated here. Then it will decide will be 1000x equals, once I multiply this one, 0.702702, it goes on and on and on. I multiply by 1000. If we multiply by 1000, this decimal point to be moved 3 times forward here to this side. Then it will be 702.702702. It goes on and on and on. Therefore, I can write this one 702.702 recurs. The meaning of this one, once we place this dot on 7 and dot on 2, the meaning of this one is the whole set repeats. Not only 7 and 2, the whole set gets repeated. 702, 702, 702. So once I multiply by 1000, I can take this 702 forward. Now, this is equation 2. Now we can subtract equation 2 minus equation 1. Then once I subtract these two, it will be 999x. When we subtract this one, so I am having here 702.702702 recurring. Here I am having 0.2702702, the whole set recurring. So when I multiply, can you see that repeating stuff, they get cancelled out. And here the remaining one is 702. So here's 702. Then x equals 702 divided by 999. Now let's use the calculator and check whether it is correct. 702 over 999. 26 over 37, which is the required fraction, so it is correct. Question 19. Inequalities, quadratic inequalities. First step, write down the inequality and convert it into an equation. 4x squared plus 4x minus 15 equals to 0. By solving this out, we can get the critical points. So let's solve this out. This equation, you can apply modify 3 and get the factors and convert into factors, or you can do it manually. Anything is okay. So factors becomes as 2x minus 3, 2x plus 5. So by solving out this equation, so 2x minus 3 equals 0, then x equals 3 over 2. 2x plus 4 equals 0, then x equals minus 4 over 2, which becomes minus 2. So these are the two critical points. Then once we get the critical points, you gotta draw the curve. The previous question, the curve question, the graph question, I told you that there are types of graphs in this case. This is the number, the coefficient in front of x squared, whatever that you get, it is positive. Therefore, you have to draw a happy face. Let's draw a happy face, then it is something like this. After that, we have to label these points. Let's label these 2 points. So I'm drawing the x-axis and I'm labeling these 2 points. Minus comes first, therefore this point should be -2 and this point should be 3/2. This is x-axis. So once solving out the equation of a quadratic equation, we are getting the curve where it gets intersected with the x-axis. We call them roots or critical points. So now the inequality says that it is smaller than 0. So remember, this part represents y. This whole thing is y, then y is smaller than 0, smaller than 0. So being at this position, let's assume that y-axis is here. To represent that y is smaller than 0, I need to go downwards. I need to go downwards. So when going downwards, I should represent this region. Then inequality is x is smaller than 3/2 and greater than -2. Check out whether there you are getting an equal sign. If there is an equal sign, you have to include equal sign as well. That's how we do. If in case, let's say that you have to shade, you have to circle out your curve is upside down and still it is smaller than 0. Whenever we are representing these arms of this quadratic curve, we need to shade to this side. So whenever we are shading these 2 parts, you have to write them as 2 inequalities. So x is smaller than -2, because we being at this position, I need to go to this side. Then all the x values are getting smaller if this is -2. If this is 3/2, being at this position, if I'm going to this side, all the x values are getting bigger. Therefore, I have to write x is greater than 3/2. So whenever we are representing the 2 arms of the quadratic, you gotta write them as 2 different inequalities. Whenever we are representing this basket part, you have to combine them and write as a 1 inequality. Question 20. On the Venn diagrams, let's see what we can do for this one. 120 gardeners were asked if they grow carrots, potatoes, or tomatoes. So of these gardeners, 43 grow carrots, 12 grow carrots and potatoes and tomatoes, 18 grow carrots and potatoes, 27 grow carrots and tomatoes, 32 grow potatoes and tomatoes, 29 do not grow carrot or potatoes or tomatoes. The number of these gardeners who grow only potatoes is equal to the number of these gardeners who grow only tomatoes. Complete the Venn diagram to show this information. Now we gotta fill the given information into the Venn diagram. When filling the details into a Venn diagram, there is an order. The first step is to fill in the inner intersection. The inner intersection is the intersection which is in the very inside. This is inner intersection. Next, we gotta fill here the sub-intersections. After that, I gotta fill this part. After that, this outer part. This is how we fill the details. So let's start filling into the Venn diagrams. So first one is 120 gardeners. So 120 gardeners. Here, the total gardeners 120. After that, we are done with total gardeners. Now we've been given 43 grow carrots. Now straight away, don't write 43 here. Can we write it? No, because the 43 grow carrots means this full circle, the whole circle represents this 4 carrot. So this part is only carrots. This part, if you come over here, this one represents carrot as well as potatoes. If you come over here, it represents carrot as well as tomatoes. Therefore, when the information is given, if there is no word only, you can't fill it in the exact space. Therefore, we get this 43 and we write it on the line. We can't write it here. 12 grow carrots and potatoes and tomatoes. Now 12 grow everything. This is the very first thing that we gotta feed. 12. 12 grow everything. After that 18 grow carrots and potatoes. Carrots and potatoes. Again, 18s represent this whole thing. Therefore, we write it here. After that, we know that 18 grow carrots and potatoes. This 12 also embedded in this 18. We need to take away if you want to write it here, because altogether this whole intersection part represent carrot and potatoes. So already we filled here 12, therefore 18 minus 12, which is 6 to be written here. This one would be 6. Next one, 27 grew carrots and tomatoes. 27 grew carrot and tomatoes. Same way, we can't straight away go to carrot and tomatoes and write it here. We need to subtract 12 from 27 because this 27 represents the whole intersection. In this intersection, 12 is embedded, therefore 27 minus 12, which is 15 here. Only carrot and tomatoes. This part represents only carrot and tomatoes. This part everything. This part only carrot and tomatoes. This part only carrot and potatoes. Next one, 32 grow potatoes and tomatoes. 32 grow potatoes and tomatoes. This one, 32, same way, we do not write inside straight away. We subtract this amount from this one and write, which is 20. 32 minus 12, which is 20. After that, 29 do not grow carrots or potatoes or tomatoes, it is not in any circle. It is outside of all three circles, which is 29. After that, now we need to go to this statement. The number of these gardeners who grow only potatoes. So only potatoes is this one, is equal to the number of these gardeners who grow only tomatoes is this position. So they're same. And the amount is not given, but we've been given that they are same. Therefore, let's introduce a letter there. We don't know the amount. Number of farmers we don't know. Afterwards, let's see whether we can fill this one. We know that the full circle, the whole circle represents 43. And this part, everything to be added and subtracted from 43 to get the only carrot. So let's subtract 43 minus 6 minus 12 minus 15. What we get here is 10. Now we know that once we add everything here, everything in the circles, once we add them, they are added to 120, then we can figure out what x is. So let's write like this. Instead of writing one by one individually here, I'm straight away getting 43, then 43 plus t 43 plus, after that I'm getting here x plus 20, again x plus 29 equals 120. Then x plus x is 2x. When we add 43 plus 20 plus 29, they add up to 92. Therefore, I'm getting here 92 equals 120. Then 2x equals, when When this 92 moves over here, it becomes negative because it is already positive here. Once you shift one thing over the equal sign, you get to change its sign. 120 minus 92, which becomes 120 minus 92 becomes 120 minus 92 becomes 28. After that, x equals 28 divided by 2, which becomes 14. Then we are getting the answer as x 14. After that, you have to write here 14. X equals. You can erase this one. Right, we are done with that. After that, let's move on to the next part. Next part is find number of elements in T complement intersect C. The best way is shading out the region that is required. Let's shade it. So T complement means not T. So I'm going to shade each and every part of not T. Not T means I have to shade here, here, everything other than like we avoided T and we shaded the rest. Next we gotta get C. So C is this one. I'm shading C now. After that, intersection part. Intersection part is the common part. So we need to get the common region. Common region is, can you see only this part? Which becomes as 10 plus 6, 16. So the answer becomes as 16. The region that represents the common part for T complement, which is not T, and for C is this part. Next one. One of the gardeners who grows carrot is chosen. Now our sample size is carrot, this one. We ignored the rest. This is the sample. One of the gardeners who grows carrot is chosen at random. Calculate the probability that this gardener also grows potatoes. Since my sample size is this one, I know that I have to pick someone from 43. Then my sample size is 43. Therefore, the denominator becomes the sample size, which is 43. So one of the gardeners who grows carrot is chosen at random. Calculate the probability that this gardener also grows potatoes. So from carrot, the one who's also grows potatoes is this region, this one carrot as well as potatoes, which becomes as 18. So the answer is 18 over 43. Question 21. Under mensuration, the question says, the diagram shows a cuboid. The cuboid measures 3x centimeters by 2x centimeters by y centimeters. 3x, 2x, y centimeters. The volume of the cuboid is 1014. This is the key sentence of this question, and this is the hint that we've been asked to use. We gotta use this one. Here, the volume of the cuboid is 1014. The total surface area of the cuboid is A. Show that A equals 12x squared plus 1690 over x. So when analyzing this one, now you need to understand each and every volume question or the mensuration question. We are given a hint. We have to use this hint. And form an equation. For doing that one, we are getting 1 mark. Next thing is we need to get the surface area, total surface area. So once analyzing this one, whatever we have to show, whatever we have to prove, in this case, can you see there is no y? Then use this hint to get what y, and whenever we need to use y for the surface area, we got to replace that y here. So first, we'll form an equation using the volume. Let's see how to get the volume of the cuboid. So when getting the volume of the cuboid, we know that volume equals length into breadth into height. Length into breadth into height. Then volume, the value is given 1014. We'll substitute here. 1014 is equal to length, which is 3x, breadth, which is y, height, 2x. So 1014 equals 3 into 2, 6, x squared, y. Now I can subject what y is, that we don't want y in our surface area. Then wherever we get y, we get our replace this one. Therefore, I'm getting y here, 1014 divided by 6x squared. So when we simplify this one, 1014 divided by 6, we are getting 169. Then 169 over x squared is y. Now let's see how to get the surface area. Surface area, this is a cuboid. Therefore, the cuboid is we can write that the cuboid surface area, there are 6 surfaces in a cuboid. First surface, second surface. The backward one is the second one, the front one is the first one, then 2, 3, the side one, and this one, 4. So top one, 5, the base is 6. There are 6 surfaces. So we need to get the area of these 6 surfaces. So if I get, let's see how to get the area of this surface. This length is 2x. This is 2x. This is 3x. This is y. Then when getting the surface of this one, 3x into y, we are having such 2 surfaces. So let's get 3x into 2. 3x into y, we are having 2 surfaces. So I'm writing here A equals 3x into y. We are having such 2 surfaces plus next one. So I'm done with 3x and y. So we are done with these 2 surfaces, top and bottom. After that, sides, this is 2x, this is y. Then it is 2x into y. The next one is 2x into y. We are having such 2 surfaces as well. The last one, we are done with this one as well. The front one, it is 3x into 2x. 3x into 2x. So plus 3x multiply 2x. We are having such two surfaces. Now let's simplify this one. 3x into y, 3xy into 2, 6xy. 6xy plus, this is 2 into 2, 4xy, plus 3x into 2x, 6x squared, into 2, it is 12x squared, 3 into 2, 6, 6 into 2, 12, x into x, x squared. Let's simplify a bit more this one. 6xy plus 4xy, it is 10xy plus 12x squared. Now we need to prove that we are getting this surface area. So I need to exclude y then. So I'm going to exclude y from this one. Whatever I got here, I'm going to exclude y from this one. Then, so total surface area equals 10x. Instead of y, I got to write 169 over x squared plus 12x squared. So here, 169 into 10, 1690. Now I'm so close to the answer. X, this is x squared. Then I gotta cancel one x from here. Then it is over x plus 12x squared. This is what we are asked to show. Question 22 on the upper and lower bound. Let's see how to do this one. The diagram shows the square inside rectangle ABCD. The total area of the region. The total area of the region shown shaded in the diagram is x squared centimeter. AB is equals 11.5, correct to the nearest 0.5 centimeter. This is really important. To the nearest 0.5 centimeter. BC equals 9.2 centimeter, correct to two significant figures. Side of square equals 4.1 centimeter, correct to two significant figures. By considering bounds, work out the value of x to a suitable degree of accuracy. Show you're working clearly. Now we've been asked to get just by considering bounds. It means we are not asked to get the upper bound. We are not asked to get the lower bound. But when considering bounds, we need to consider both upper and lower bound for the region X. Before doing anything else, this is the key point of that upper and lower bound. So 0.5 to be divided by 2, then it will be 0.25. To get upper and lower bound, whatever that given the accuracy, you need to get it done. Divide that thing by 2. You have to divide it by 2. So 0.5, in this case 0.5, because it is to the nearest 0.5. It is not to the nearest significant, not to the nearest whole number, not to the nearest decimal place. Therefore, straight away, whatever the value given, you gotta get it done divided by 2, which is 0.25. Next one is, it is correct to its two significant figure, then you have to come to the second significant figure, which is this one. It is the place value of this 2 is 0.1 because it is the first decimal place. Then you have to get that 0.1 and divide it by 2, which becomes as 0.05. Next one, two significant figure, correct to two significant figure, same way. The second significant in this case is 1. The place value of this 1 is 0.1. Then we get 0.1 and divide it by 2. For these cases, we get the place value and divide. For this one, straight away to the nearest value, then the value to be taken and divided by 2. By considering bounds, now what we need to check how to get the upper and lower bound of x. X is the shaded region. So I'm getting the area of shaded region x. If I need to get x, first of all, I need to get the area of rectangle. Subtract area of the square. Right. Now in this case, if I want to get the upper bound of this one, I need to get, let's say that upper bound of this one, upper bound, then I have to get area of ABCD, upper bound, and area of square, lower bound. So if it is a subtraction, if you need to get the answer as upper bound, if it is subtraction, it means you need to get a bigger maximum answer. So to get the maximum answer, this part has to be maximum. You need to take away smallest amount, which means lower bound. In the other hand, if you want to remember it in this way, if you're starting with upper bound for a subtraction, the first thing is upper bound, second thing is lower bound. So upper bound, you have to start like that. So how to get the area of ABCD? Then we need to get the length into breadth. Length into breadth. Then again, length into breadth, upper bound, minus length into breadth, lower bound. Now again we have to again check this way. To get this, the whole answer upper bound, I need to get individually the upper bound of the length, lower upper bound of the breadth, because if it is a multiplication, when we are getting upper bound, both the measurements should be in upper bound. Then only we are getting the maximum answer. When multiplying, both the cases should be in upper bound. When subtracting, it is different. If it is a subtraction, you need to use two different things. If it is multiplication, the same thing. So in this case now, length upper bound, breadth upper bound. How do we get length? How much is length? Length, AB length is 11.5. Breadth is 9.2. Then when we are getting upper bound, BC, if we are getting upper bound and lower bound, how do we get it? Upper bound is 11.75. Lower bound is 11.25. Lower bound is 11.25. Upper bound is 11.75. So this is the way how we do it for the original measurement. If you want to get upper bound, you need to add this much. If you want to get lower bound, you need to subtract this much. So 11.5 subtract 0.25, I'm getting 11.25. 11.5 plus 0.25, I'm getting 11.75. So if I write them again, BC 11.75, 11.25, lower bound. So what about DC or AB? It is 9.25 and 9. 1.5. So same way we need to add and subtract this much from the measurement, original measurement. So let's get the upper bound of this ABCD. Then I have to write 11.75 into 9.25 minus 4.05 into 4.05, because we need to get the upper bound and lower bound of this one as well, which is 4.1. Okay, let's get for the square as well. It is 0.25. 0.05. I need to add or subtract that thing, so it would be 4.15 and 4.05. Right? Now the answer for this one is 92.85. So we are done with this upper bound of xb. Now let's get the lower bound of x. So ABCD, the area of ABCD, lower bound, area of AB, area of square, upper bound, because I need to get a smallest answer. Then from a smallest answer, if I take away a biggest one or maximum one, then the remaining one will be lowest. Therefore 11.25 into 9.15 subtract 4.15 into 4.15. The answer would be 85.715. Now, considering both bounds, we need to get the answer by considering bounds. Work out the value of x, a suitable degree of accuracy. Now let's write both the values. One is 92.85, which is upper bound. The lower bound is 85.715. This is 92.285. 92.285. This is upper bound. Now let's get lower bound. 85.715. Now when considering bounds, and we have to decide suitable degree of accuracy, let's start off with the furthest one. So when we are considering 5, this is 5, yes, both matches. But when we are moving on to this one, it is 8 and 1, they are different. But we have to ignore this up to the second decimal place. We can't get it to the third decimal place. We can't get it to the second decimal place. They are different. If we are getting same digits, now let's say these two are same, then you need to have same digits all the way here as with. So since they are different, we are considering this one. They are also different. These 2 hours are different. These 2 hours are different. Therefore, we have to round off to the first significant figure. So we are giving the accuracy only to the first significant figure, because once we round off to the first significant figure, I'm getting 90 here, I'm getting here 90. Now let's see that we are rounding off to this one, to to the second decimal place. This one would be the 92.29. This one would be 85.72. There are two different values. By considering bounds, we need to get the same answer. So if you are considering the first decimal place, this one would be the 92.3. This one would be 85.7. Still different. If you are considering the second significant figure, what would be this one 92, this one 86. Therefore, the only accuracy that we can go for is the first significant figure. So when I'm considering the first significant figure, once we round off to the first significant figure, this one becomes 90. This one also becomes 90. Therefore, the suitable degree of accuracy is 90. The answer. Question 23. Algebraic fractional equations. So whenever we get algebraic fractional equations, check out whether anything can be factorized. That is the method. Because other than that, as soon as you see this one, you should have the sense that, oh, I gotta factorize. Before doing anything else, check out the factorization order. There's an order of factorization. This is the order. The first one is you need to check whether there is an HCF connection, which means the highest common factor. Check out whether highest common factor, which means a common factor is available. Rather than that, if you're trying to factorize with that highest common factor, your final answer will be different. Therefore, check out whether highest common factor. After that, difference of squares. Difference of squares means a squared, b squared, a squared minus b squared type. The factors of this one is a minus b, a plus b. The other thing, when you are moving on to factorization, the other order is quadratic. So this is the factorization order. No matter what the factorization is, whether it is quadratic, whether it is difference of squares, check out whether highest common factor is available. Let's move on to the question. The first one is, I'm rewriting the question. No. Can you see that there's a common factor I can see? 4 is common, therefore I'm taking out 4. Once I take out 4, x squared minus 6 minus 30. Here also, there's a common factor which is 5. Once I take out 5, x squared minus 5 times 3, 15, 3, 6. Next one is division. X squared plus 5x. There is also a common factor x plus 5. Can you see how important this case is? It's very important. And in this case also there's a common factor which is 10x. So x plus 6 equals b. So this is the very first step. After that, let's convert this division into multiplication and try. As while doing this one, try to convert this one into factors as well. So I'm gonna write the factors of this one: x minus 6, x plus 5. You can use the calculator to modify 3 and get the factors, or you can do it manually. No harm. Here, 5. I can see here difference of squares because this is x squared. I can write this one as 6 squared. Then x squared minus 6 squared. This is under this one. So I'm writing it as x minus 6, x plus 6. This is under difference of squares. 36 can be written as 6 squared. So it is x squared minus 6 squared, x minus 6, x plus 6. Now multiplication can be, this division can be converted into multiplication. As soon as you convert it into multiplication, like normal fractions, you gotta flip this fraction, or you gotta get the reciprocal of it. So 10x times x plus 6 come to the numerator, and x times x plus 5, they come to the denominator, still equals p. Now check out whether any cancellations are available. Yes, cancellations are available. X minus 6, I can cancel out. X plus 5, I can cancel out. X plus 6, I can cancel out. X, I can cancel out. 5 times 1, 5 times 2, I can cancel them out. The only remaining thing is 4 into 2, then which is 8. 4 into 2 is 8 equals P. Question 24. Under trigonometry, the diagram shows a Scrabble pyramid. A, B, C, D, E, and EA, EB, EC, and ED, they all are equal to each other. EA, EB, EC, ED, which are the slant height, they are equal to each other. M is the center of the horizontal Scrabble, ABCD. So M is the center of the horizontal Scrabble. Let's get here M. Then M is the center of this horizontal Scrabble. Q is the midpoint of AB. Q is the midpoint of AB. Then Q might be somewhere here. This side is equal to this side because it is the midpoint. Angle EQM is equal to 90 degrees. So let's get that angle as 90 degrees. EQM, the angle, it is EQM. This is 90 degrees, this angle, and EQM is 80 degrees. We've been given in the question. Let's label that one as well. This is 80 degrees. EA's to AB equals n's to 1. Find the value of n. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figure. Now we know that EA's to AB equals n's to 1. EA and AB equals to n's to 1. This is a Scrabble one. Therefore, I'm taking this length as, I'm taking this side as 2x. You can get it as x. That's also fine, but I'm getting as 2x. This side is 2x. Then this length, MQ, if I get this length, this much is x. Okay? And let's see how to do this. This angle is 80 degrees. We need to get EA, this one, and AB. So AB already it is 2x because I got it as this side. Also 2x because this is a scrap. Now already we have what AB is. This side is also 2x. We need to get EA. To get EA, if I have this EQ, I know that this is x over 2, then I can get EA. So let's try to get this EQ to get EQ, we have this side, it is x, and this is 80. Using this angle, this triangle, EMQ, I gotta get EQ. This is 90-degree triangle. Therefore, I have adjacent, and I need to get the hypotenuse. So it is cos 80 degrees. Cos 80 equals x over adjacent over socket over. So then I have adjacent. This is my adjacent. This is hypotenuse. Then I need to include these two. So A and H matches for the cos. Therefore, cos 80 equals adjacent over hypotenuse, which is EQ. Now let's cross multiply. EQ comes over here, then EQ equals x over cos 80. So EQ equals x over cos 80. Let's see, what's the value in the calculator? Cos 80. Cos 80 equals, it is 1 over cos 80. Oh. Give me a sec, this is in radians. Need to predict? Right. 1 over cos 80, which becomes 5.75877. Now 1 over cos 80 means there is no number other than x, so I'm assuming that there is a 1, invisible 1, so 1 over cos 80, then it is easy if we get it in values. So EQ becomes as 5.76x. Now we have EQ. Since we have EQ, if we consider this triangle, EAQ, I'm going to draw that one. EAQ so this is E, this is Q. So this is the angle which is 90 degree. This is not. This is, although this looks like it's 90 degree, it is not 90. When this one falls along this pyramid, you have to imagine it in 3D. This side, if I draw this triangle separately like this, if I draw this triangle separately, EAB, EAB, so this is EAB. Now you can see that this angle is not 90 degree, although it looks here it is 90, it is not. If I draw that, this one symmetrical line, this one becomes 90 degree. So this is 90 degree, but this is not. That's how we get EQA is 90. Now using this one, I know that EQ we got it, which is 5.76a. And we have QA. QA we know that it is x, because this whole length is 2x, then this is x. Now you can assume that why I got this one as 2x, then we don't want to deal with fractions, therefore it is x. This is 5.76x. Now again use Pythagoras theorem and get what QA is. Let's apply Pythagoras theorem and get what QA is. So EA equals 5.76 x squared, the whole thing to be squared, plus x squared. The whole thing, root, this is Pythagoras theorem. After that, once we square this one, 33.177 x squared plus x squared. So we once I simplify this one, this is 33.177, this is x squared, this is also x squared, therefore I can add them together. There is 1 here, then 33.177 plus 134.177 x squared root. Then we are getting EA of 5.846 once you get the square root of this one. Root of x squared is x. So we have EA now. Now EA, we are asked to get EAs to AB. Then only we can get, and let's write EA to AB. EA is this one, 5.846x. AB, I got it as this. When we started it, we introduced AB as 2x. Then let's go ahead with AB as 2x. It is 2x. Then let's simplify. X cancel out. And since I need to get this AB side, I have to have 1. To get 1, I'm dividing both the ratios by 2. Then 2 cancel out. Then this side I'm getting 1. Here, once we divide this one, 5.846 divide by 2, I'm getting 2.92. Then n equals 2.92. So we are done with that. Okay, next question. Under completing the square format, this is the format of completing the square. Whenever we see this one in our question, you have to understand that you gotta go with completing the square format. I'm teaching you 2 methods for this one. Those who are unable to apply the methods, manual methods, they can use that formula method. So let's see. First thing, let's rewrite the question. 28 plus 24x minus 6x squared. So this is the quadratic expressions that we be given originally. Let's rearrange. I'm taking this 6x squared minus 6x squared forward, minus 6x squared plus 24x plus 28. After that, I'm factorizing this one because I need to have x squared. X squared, when I take out minus 6, this one becomes minus 6 times 4x, this one minus. This is not possible to factorize, therefore I'm writing it in this way. And close the bracket. After that, minus 6 x squared minus 4x. Here I can simplify 2 times 3, 2 times 14, minus 14 over 3. Right now, what we do here is, we are taking this x, just from x squared, I'm writing x, you gotta get just x. After that, minus whatever sign you are getting here, write it. After that, this is b. Now, in this case, e. If I consider this one, your a equals 1, b equals minus 4, c equals minus 14 over 3. That's how we are getting, because our standard quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c. When considering only this part, I'm getting ABC in this way. Afterwards, next part is minus B over 2. So this is B, which is 4 over 2. It will be 4 over 2 squared. After that, whatever you write here, you have to square and subtract 4 over 2 to be squared and subtract, and still I get minus 14 over 3. Remember, whatever you write here, no matter whether this is plus or minus, always we square this b over 2 and subtract it. After that, close this box bracket, write minus 6. Here, let's simplify a little bit more, then it is neat. Minus 2 here, squared. After that, you can straight away use the calculator to get the answer. Let's input it in this way. Minus bracket fraction, what is 4 over 2. Close the bracket, squared. Minus 14 over 3. Then I'm getting minus 26 over 3. Minus 26 over 3. Still we are getting this box bracket. Now let's multiply out the brackets. Then minus 6 times x minus 2 squared minus plus 6 times 26 over 3. Here, minus into minus, I need to multiply this one and this one as it. So this is minus, it gets positive. So through 3 times 1, 3 times 2, the final answer comes as minus 6 x minus 2 squared plus 26 into 2, which is 52. So we've been asked to arrange this one forward. Let's finalize in that way. Then my answer would be 52 minus 6 times x minus 2. Scrap. Let's move on to this. Okay, then let's see the second method. Those who are struggling with the first method, the manual way, they can apply this formula method. So let's know what the formula is. You need to memorize it. This formula, you don't get it with the formula sheet, therefore memorize it. The formula is a times x plus b over 2a, the whole thing to be squared raised to the power of 2 minus b squared over 4a plus c. So this is the formula. Let's see whether we are getting the answer using this one. First thing, I want you to list out what a, b, c according to the given expression. Given quadratic expression, we know that any quadratic expression can be written ax squared plus bx plus c. Now remember, here also you are getting A, B, C. These A, B, C are not the A, B, C what we are getting here. These letters can be any letters, P, Q, R, any letters. Therefore, don't get mixed up with this A, B, C and this A, B, C. They're totally different. So you need to list out your A, B, C of this expression according to the standard format ax squared plus bx plus c. In this case, I'm getting A. A is the coefficient which is in front of x squared, which is minus 6 in this case. B equals 24. C equals 28. Now let's plug in these values into this formula. So A, in my A, it is minus 6. X to be written as it is plus, no matter whether what this B is, just write plus. After that B, it is 24. 2 times A is again minus 6. Now close the bracket, squared minus b squared, which is 24 squared, over 4 times a, which is again minus 6, plus c's, in this case, 28. Right. Afterwards, let's simplify this one bit. When simplifying, minus 6 to be written as it is. Don't try to multiply our n again. Minus 6 x plus. So you can use the calculator to simplify this one, or you can straight away do it manually. Let's see what the calculator says us. 24 over 2 into minus 6. Then let's see what calculator gives us minus 2. So let's get it minus 2 x minus 2, the whole thing squared. Let's substitute the values into the calculator as it is. Then it is easy. It will save your time. So minus this one fraction 24 squared over 4 multiplied by minus 6 plus 28. It is 52. So now we can rearrange this one according to the required format. 52 minus 6 times x minus 2 squared. To do this one, you need to memorize this formula and you need to list out ABC really perfectly and substitute the values into the formula very carefully. Remember, this ABC in the complete this graph format, this is the format, this is the formula. The ABC in the format are really different letters than this ABC. So you can straight away pick A and put it here, B from here and put it here like this. Now in this case minus 6 is here. You can straight away write this one as minus 6. We got it as 52. Therefore, you need to memorize this formula separately and you need to learn how to substitute value into this formula. Question 25, Part B. On the axis below, sketch the graph of y equals 28 plus 24x minus 6x squared. Show clearly the coordinates of the turning point and the coordinates of the point of intersection of the graph with the y-axis. Whenever we are asked to sketch, you gotta understand what this is, what the shape of this is first. In this case, this is, now if I write this, if I check this equation again, the highest power of the x is squared. Depending on the highest power, we can decide what the shape of the curve is. If it is 6, if it is x squared, it is quadratic. So that's the very first thing you need to notice. This is a quadratic curve. This is a quadratic curve. If it is quadratic, there are two types of quadratic. So whenever you need to get a quadratic, but when you check the number in front of x squared or the sign in front of x squared, now in this case, it is minus 6x squared. Since it is minus 6x squared, the shape would be this way. So remember in this one, if it is negative, we are sad, then a sad face. If it is positive, we are happy, then it would be like this. So you gotta remember, first you have to decide whether it is quadratic or not. If it is quadratic, you need to decide whether A is. If A is negative, this is the shape. If A is positive, this is the shape. Now in this case, A equals minus 6. Therefore it is negative. The shape would be this way. Sad face. So first step is correct now. Next one is we have to identify. Now we are asked to show clearly the coordinates of the turning point. So coordinates of the turning point. Now there is a link between part A and B. Part A, we arrange the quadratic equation or quadratic expression according to the complete the square format, and we got this one. 52 minus 6 times x minus 2 squared. We got this one. So whenever the complete the square format, we arranged any quadratic equation or expression according to the complete the square format. Once we draw the curve, we can get the coordinate of the turning point. So in this case, we call this one turning point. It goes all the way here. From this point onwards, it turns. So we call this one turning point. This is a unique turning point. We call this maximum turning point. This is a minimum point. So this is also turning point. Oh, there's another term, stationary point as well. When we need to get the coordinate of this one, if you have the square format, so let's write the standard format. The standard format is this one. As soon as you see this one, you should understand that this is complete the square format. So if we have complete the square format, by here we can get the x coordinate. X minus b represent the x coordinate. How? X equals b. So remember, when you are getting here negative sign, you have to reverse it. If you are getting positive sign, still you have to reverse its sign. And y coordinate would be as it is. We do not reverse its sign. Y coordinate represents c, x coordinate represent b. So you have to reverse its sign. It can be either plus or minus depending on this sign. So here I'm getting it as plus. That is the standard format. Therefore, I'm making this one as minus b. Then, depending on this one, our equation, I know that my x coordinate would be x equals 2. My y coordinate would be 52. Now, I know that this is under this shape because it is minus. The shape is this one, and the maximum coordinate is 2, 52. So 2 is somewhere here. Let's label it 2. 52 I'm getting somewhere here. Right? Then my maximum point, I'm labeling it here. After that, I need to get the y-intercept. So if we go to this one, any time whenever you are getting y-intercept, what about the x-coordinate? X-coordinate is always 0. So if I get this equation, y equals 28 plus 24x minus 6x squared. If I want to get the y-intercept, I know that when x equals 0, I'm getting y. Then I know that this one, 24 times 0, y equals 28 plus 24 times 0 minus 6, 0. Then my answer is 28. Now I know that y-intercept would be somewhere here. Then I can draw the curve. Like this. It would be starting somewhere from here. And all the way here. Here. Like this. So it has to be a curve. It has to be a nice curve. Now mine is not nice. It is ugly. Let's try to redo it. Make it smooth. Like this. This one has to be 2 then. Got it? It is something like this. We need to Now you can write here 2, 52. This one would be 0, 28. This is also fine, but write it as a coordinate since you've been asked to write it as a coordinate. Question 26. On the similarity, A and B are two similar solids. So this is very important, similar solids. Whenever you see this term in your question, then you could understand that you have to deal with similarity. So there are three equations that you got to deal with the similarity. Let's see what these three equations. First, move on to the information of this equation. The height of solid A is 31 centimeters. The height of solid B is 18.6 centimeters. Given that volume of solid A minus volume of solid B equals 735 centimeter cubic, find the volume of solid A. So we need to get the volume. Now we have to get the volume. So since this is similarity, let's first draw two figures. So I'm drawing, this is solid A. Solid A and solid B. Right, let's note down the things that we've been given. The height of solid A is 31 centimeter. So we've been given height of A, 31 centimeter. The height of B is 18.6 centimeter. Right, this is the information that we already have. So when it comes to similarity, we should know that there are three equations I told you. So there are the first equation, L1 over L2 equals L3 over L4, which means if you have length ratio, so if you can get any two length ratios, it will be the scale factor K. So you don't want four lengths here to get the scale factor. Just if you have two lengths, they are done. You can get what the length ratio is. After that, A1 over A2 equals K squared. So if you simply have the length ratio, it is scale factor. If you have that length ratio or the scale factor, you can bring that scale factor and square it, and you can get what the length ratio is. Similarly, if you have area scale factor, which is K squared, by getting the root of this one, you can go back to this one as well. So this is the second equation. Third equation, volume of 1 over volume of 2 equals the volume ratio equals K cubed, which means the scale factor cubed. So if you have one scale factor, you can, from that one, you can move on to the other one. So let's say that we have this one area scale factor. So how do you come back to the volume scale factor? You can't straight away come to the volume one. You need to go back to the K by getting the root. Then K can be cubed. Straight away, there's no possibility. Straight away you can root, and root should be cubed. That's how you have to go to the volume scale factor. Right, since we have to deal with volume here, remember, we need to get the scale factor and cube it. So how do we get the scale factor? We've been given here two lengths, and we've been given that these two are similar. So let's get the scale factor, length ratio. So I'm writing length of H over length of A over length of B. Instead of 1, 2, I'm using straight away their notations. Then length of A, which is 31, length of B, which is 18.6. Let's see what the answer comes. 31 divided by 18.6. it is 5/3. So we have the scale factor k 5/3. Then we know that k equals 5/3. This is the scale factor. Remember, we went from this shape to this shape to get the scale factor. Now we need to get the volume. Volume of solid A minus volume of solid B equals 735 cubic centimeter, which means if I write it in shortened form, volume of A minus volume of B equals 735 cubic centimeter. So I can form another equation, volume of A over volume of B equals K cube, which means 5/3 cube. I'm using this one. See, I have this length ratio. Using length ratio, I'm getting this one. So K cubed. Now I can simplify this one, 125 over, because this cube should be applied to this one, then it becomes 5 cube. 5 cube equals 125. Once you apply this cube to this 3, then it is 3 cube, 3 into 3, 9, 9 into 3, 27. Then this would be 27. So using this one, now we need to get the volume of solid A. Then I want to get rid of what volume B is. Therefore, from one equation, I'm going to subtract volume B. So this is kind of simultaneous equation. This is equation 1. This is equation 2. Then I'm going to get what's volume B in this case. So let's get what volume B of this one. From equation 1, I can get volume B equals, so I'm sending this volume B to this side, and I'm taking this one to this side, then volume B is positive. So volume A minus 735 cubic centimeters. Right, now here I'm going back to the second equation. Instead of this volume of B, I'm going to write this one. So volume of A over volume of A. I'm not writing volume of B in this case. Instead, I'm writing volume of A, 735 minus 735 over 125 over 27. So can you see now we are getting an equation? There are only VAs. So now once we sort this one, we can get what VA. That's our goal, getting rid of volume of B. So I'm going to cross multiply, then 27 VA equals 125 times VA minus 735. So 27 volume of A equals 125 VA minus, let's multiply 125 into minus 735. It becomes minus 91,875. After that, now let's collect all the VAs to one side, then send the numbers to the other side. Since this is greater one, I'm collecting VA to this side, then 125 volume of A minus 27 VA. I'm sending this one to this side, then it is getting positive 91,875. So once we subtract these two, we are getting 98 VA equals 91,875. So I need to divide both sides by 98, this side by 98, then cancel 98. Let's see what the answer is. 91,875 to be divided by 98. Then answer comes as 937.5. 937.5. This is the answer.